Hey, oh that? Welcome to the Dash Hound house. This house is massively dominated by the two cutest Dash Hounds you've ever seen. So welcome. I'm gonna make a power bowl for you today. So we take care of our health and we're gonna talk about attachment and relationships. So attachment, our brain wires to connect with our caregiver from the moment we're born, maybe even in utero. And we do that because we have to survive. Humans are born very helpless. So we survive by connecting with that primary caregiver. So the brain wires by creating scripts, and that script is, by definition, created from that one caregiver. So if that one caregiver is very easy to connect with, your attachment style will be secure, it'll be easier. But if they're depressed, if they're emotionally avoidant, if there's something like that, you will wire to attach to them. And that impacts you for the rest of your life. That is an attachment style. I probably need the next question. So that is the partner who probably is brilliant at meeting your needs and really intuitive about you. But they worry about their connection with you sometimes, right? So they're afraid of losing you. They may be jealous. They may think about the relationship a lot. So you think everything's fine and they want to talk about something. And everything may be fine, but they think about the relationship a lot. And sometimes this is your jealous presentation. They scan for threat because being close to people has been good and bad, depending, okay? So they're scanning for threat. So if you have a colleague you seem close to, they may get nervous. That's what it looks like. That's a tough one. That avoidant attachment is a tough one. Because sometimes if you have an avoidant attachment, especially if it's dismissive, you may tell yourself you don't need people and you don't need a relationship. That's what's hard about it. So sometimes when somebody has an avoidant attachment, what they do is they'll meet somebody and immediately figure out what's wrong with them, why it doesn't work. So they have to find a way to be close to people, because somebody with an avoidant attachment, they learned that being close to people, isn't this the prettiest? That being close to people wasn't safe. So when they get close to you, they also get nervous. Their nervous system goes, so they tend to need a lot of space to stay close to you. Okay, so it's not that they need away from you, they're actually trying to regulate their central nervous system. That's what avoidant looks like. Yes, your attachment style can change. It's not easy, it's going to take some work. The most natural way throughout a lifetime is if you had a caregiver who was emotionally unavailable and therefore developed an avoidant attachment style. When you date someone who has an anxious attachment style or secure, your brain is going to rewire to accommodate that new information. Okay? So it definitely can change, but in the interim, the fact that you want to avoid is still going to dominate, okay? So what therapy does, what healing does, is take you away from your life so that you can do that work without worrying about your relationship not working out. Because your attachment style is going to be triggered with me, with your therapist. That's how it works. So if you find yourself going, oh, I'm not sure about this therapist, that may be avoidant attachment, worth the conversation. And as you have those conversations, and as you do that work, you can speed it up and find a way to stay in a relationship that you otherwise may find it very difficult because you feel afraid of being close to people at the same time you crave it. It's a while, okay? And I'll tell you why, because we're talking about a rewiring brain. What's incredible about human beings is our brain rewires. We're extremely adaptive. We're actually one of the most adaptive creatures on the planet, which is really cool. But wiring your brain takes a while. You know, I think of the pandemic, all of us rewired to need less social time with other people, or we would have been miserable. So your brain rewired. And then at the end of the pandemic, being around people was kind of uncomfortable. It takes a while for the brain to rewire to being social again. Think of it like that. So it takes a while, but it's worth it because you show up and the relationships look really different. And it'll change your life. Went through the process myself. It was 5 years, but I feel so different in every relationship ever since. Mismatch is a bit of a weird word, okay? And this is what I mean by that. Anxious and avoidant, very frequently, so an anxiously attached person and an avoidant find each other. So somebody may say they're a mismatch because it tends to result in a very challenging relationship. But I'd suggest what you're really doing is finding a healing opportunity. So if you had a mom who was avoidant, you're going to choose somebody who's avoidant because you want to change the script, okay? And you can choose to change the script together. So if you're motivated and can change the script, it'll be the best thing you ever do. But you may have relationships that break down until you figure that out, which is what we're here to help. And having these conversations about attachment and relationships is my passion. And fun fact, I'm writing a four-part series on attachment. So I wrote the anxious attachment this week. It just literally went online yesterday. So if you want to check out Instagram, the bio there. And of course you can go right to our website. So the 4-part series starts with anxious attachment, then it goes to avoidant, disorganized, secure, and then I'm going to post it all at once if you want to read everything at once. And it's literally what it is, how it develops, how it shows up in your life, and healing and treatment considerations so that you can get there without feeling like you're going to lose really great relationships before you get there. And for me, writing about these things, talking about these things with you as clients, it's my favorite thing. And I'm so lucky that my passion is my job because I feel like I work all the time and never work at all. And I sit there writing blogs outside in the backyard, which I'm looking at outside the window of my kitchen, and I sit there writing blogs on my phone while the dogs bark and birds chirp, and it's like a Disney movie. So I'm a pretty blessed human being.